Welcome to episode 13 of At Your Doorstep. I'm your host, Kaylee Nix. This is the show where we explore all things last mile delivery, e-commerce, gig economy, getting things done in the modern world. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about how you can support local from the convenience of your couch with co-founder and CEO of Market Wagon, Nick Carter. Before we sit down with Nick, let's take a look at some of the top headlines on modernshipper.com. Sustainability is a top priority for a lot of companies around the globe, especially when it comes to global growth. The company Co-op, which is a UK-based food convenience company, is partnering with Bring, the cloud-based platform, to grow their e-commerce work in a green and sustainable way. You can check out all of Bring's service offerings in the interview I did with Bring CEO Guy Block on a previous episode of At Your Doorstep. And just days after going public in the United States, the Chinese government is cracking down on ride-hailing app Didi. China has banned downloads of the new app while it explores the app and its operations. And this ban isn't unique just to ride-hailing. The Chinese government has also placed limitations on user operations on the full Truck Alliance network as well. You can find all of these headlines and more up on modernshipper.com all the time. Today's day and age, we live for the comfort and the convenience of ordering groceries online, getting them delivered to your house. Instacart reigned supreme during the pandemic and is going to reign supreme as far as we look in the future. But what about when it comes to farmers market fresh, but the convenience from your couch? That's where Market Wagon comes in. And we're sitting down with the co-founder and CEO, Nick Carter, today. Thank you so much for joining me, Nick. I'm really excited about having you on At Your Doorstep.
Thanks for having me.
So first things first, explain to us what Market Wagon is in general.
Market Wagon is an online farmers market that delivers. So you can experience all of your local farmers and artisans and order what you want online. And then we gather the items from the local farms and deliver it to your door.
And talk to me a little bit about the inspiration behind it. It seems kind of like a concept that would just come, out of exploring your local farmers market and then maybe not having the opportunity to, or those folks who live a little bit farther away who can't really get out to those farmers markets, right?
Well, it would seem that way, but we actually started because I'm a farmer myself, and we needed to be able to expand our market in order to continue to grow and to even survive another generation. Farmers markets are fantastic, but in a lot of places they're saturated. So we were told, we already have a pork vendor here. We're not adding a new booth. And so we were a little bit locked out. We needed the ability to expand the market. So we created an online marketplace where not only our farm, but now 1,800 other farms around the Midwest are all transacting online. And what we found is it doesn't compete with farmers markets. It's actually additive. There are lots of people out there who would love to shop farmers markets like you described, but getting there is difficult, or maybe there's not one nearby, or maybe it just doesn't fit their schedule this week. And so we have created an additive, expanded market for local food, and it's really phenomenal.
Personally, I live for our farmers markets. We have the Chattanooga market that's every Sunday here in our First Tennessee Pavilion, which is always filled with local artisans and farmers, and people come from all around the surrounding areas to really participate in this. Talk to me about the importance of providing an e-commerce platform to get those folks who are maybe smaller providers who can't make it out to those farmers markets in general.
Yeah, it really is additional, right? So there's smaller providers who can't make it to the farmers markets. There are also the vendors at those farmers markets that need to grow even bigger, and there's only so much transaction that can be done at a physical farmers market. So this is just opens up a whole new category, if you will. There are more and more people who would like to buy their food from a local farmer that they know, but walking the booths on a Saturday afternoon, it doesn't fit their lifestyle for one reason or another.
We talk a lot about, as consumers, kind of putting your money where your morals is, right? And shopping with your dollar. And it's come to a lot of people's attention that shopping small, shopping local is really the way to go. Talk to me about how Market Wagon kind of supports that initiative in both ways. It's tenfold. It's the farmers providing to their community, but also the community giving back to those people who are local to their area.
Yeah, there's a concept called dollar velocity, right? Keeping your dollar circulating in your own local community, buying food that you believe in, buying food that you can trust. And I think at the end of the day, we all realize that we don't want everything on our dining room table to come from one of 2 to 3 global conglomerates where there's no transparency, no relationship, and no real ultimate responsibility to do what's good for the consumer. And if that's something we don't want to see happen, then we have to actively be working against that future, right? We have to be making conscious decisions to buy food from the people that we can build a relationship with, that we can know. So on Market Wagon, not only are you shopping this way, but we're building a community. You can follow your favorite farmers. You're going to be able to message back and forth with them. We see all kinds of cordial chats going on between farmers and their consumers, questions about the products, questions about what's going on, what's coming up, what's going to be in season. Farmers are able to stay in touch with the people that follow them on our platform. And you can invite your friends to be on Market Wagon, and you can do some social discovery, learning about new products and new vendors that your friends have discovered and they've tried and rated. And we build a community rather than just thinking about transactions.
And so you guys started off in the Midwest. You guys are expanding pretty quickly as it goes across the Midwest and out into the Southeast as well. You guys are coming to Chattanooga here pretty quickly. Talk to me a little bit about that expansion and building that community.
Yeah. What we realized during the pandemic was that we had been in 6 cities, just in Indiana and Ohio prior to the pandemic starting. And the opportunity was massive. The farmers markets were shutting down due to COVID in a lot of places. The local small restaurants that many farmers also supplied were shutting down. And so there was a great need for those farmers to be able to get their products into consumers' hands. And so we really quickly mobilized a big team and started expanding middle of last year. We've launched 25 new markets in the last 9 months, and we continue to grow. And everywhere we go, the opportunity is massive. The community is just ripe for this kind of a service, and we're really excited to be offering this service to local farmers and artisans everywhere we go.
I like to think that our community here in Chattanooga and North Georgia is really kind of community centric, and it's very focused on that sustainability, that grain, that supporting local with your dollar, and also with your actions of going out and actively seeking people that are providing products from your local areas. Talk to me about sustainability practices when it comes to these farmers. Is this ability to push their goods on a local e-commerce platform and not just at the local markets in person, does that extend the life of their products? Does that help push out things that maybe might have gone to waste or might have some spoilage issues if they weren't sold in person?
Yeah, of course. Anytime you're expanding the market for something, you can create, or you're going to reduce waste, because produce is highly perishable, right? I was just shopping just before this call. I was shopping for my own order that we order every week, and one of the latest products posted on Market Wagon was ugly cucumbers. $2.39 a pound. The description says they're not pretty, but they still taste delicious, and those might not have sold at a farmer's market, or they might have otherwise been fed to chickens or something like that. There's also something about sustainability when it comes to e-commerce, is that it's far more efficient to send a tight delivery route to homes rather than all of those cars come into the farmer's market. So if you think about shopping at a farmer's market or a supermarket, all those parking spaces in the parking lot represent a vehicle moving from one home to there and back. But what we're able to do is we're able to put all of those groceries onto one route, and one vehicle visits multiple locations. It's actually highly fuel efficient, much lower carbon footprint to do e-commerce grocery than it is to do point-to-point, meaning a consumer drives into a supermarket or farmer's market.
So you mentioned that ugly cucumber, right? Those hitting the market. And when it comes to produce, just because it doesn't look great doesn't mean that it isn't a good product overall. But some people can kind of they can shy away a little bit when it comes to ordering that produce from a fresh provider. Most grocery stores, supermarkets will kind of pick out the best looking ones, put them out first. They don't want to sell a product that doesn't look good. Talk to me about how you guys ensure quality control on these products that you're providing from your farmers.
Yeah, it's a great question. And first of all, I should say that only about 25% of what we sell is produce. We sell meat, dairy, eggs, baked goods, made foods, all kinds of different things. But produce is the one that most people are concerned about, right? How do you like your bananas? Do you want them to have a little bit of brown spots, or do you want them to be green on the top? Everybody's a little bit more particular about those kinds of things. That's where the relationship matters a lot. That's why you're not just buying produce from some big giant corporation called Market Wagon, and you're going to get what you get and you won't throw a fit. You're buying produce from your local farmer. If you don't like what came, you can contact them. We'll always give you a full refund. Every producer on Market Wagon participates by rule, and our standards is that if the customer is not pleased, then they're going to be refunded. And everybody has that mentality, and we all take care of that. But we can have a conversation with that grower, not with the the local customer service agent wearing a headset just trying to get through calls. But you can talk to the person who grew the produce. Why did you bring me this? I wasn't really happy with it. And usually they bend over backwards to make it right the next time, or they understand what you're looking for, or you figure out which produce vendors that you want to actually patronize and which ones you might not want to, because and that's a good outcome. That's what community and relationship and transparency can create.
Right, and that's kind of that point to point of, you're not just getting, like you said, that representative who's ready to give you your refund and push you on to the next person. It's kind of a learning experience going both ways, right? As a consumer, you get more accepting of, hey, you might have these imperfect goods, but they're still just as good as they were coming out at the door. And the farmer gets a, hey, these are what my consumers are looking for, and this is what I can do better in the long run. Talk to me a little bit about what it takes to join the network from this producer standpoint. If you're a farmer, how do you get involved? And then even a step down, if you wanted to work as the delivery driver, if you wanted to be part of this gig economy kind of e-commerce fulfillment network, how do you get started and how do you join?
Great question. All of the applications are on our website. So if you go to marketwagon.com, in the menu icon up in the upper left, you'll see two applications. One is apply to be a farmer, or sorry, apply to be a vendor, and the other is apply to drive with us. And you can do both, right? We do have some producers that come in, make deliveries, and then also work in terms of our last mile delivery. So you can apply online. The application to be a producer is pretty simple. We just want to know a little bit about what you're offering. And within 24 hours, one of our internal, we call them foragers, their job is to just find the best local food and get it on the marketplace. They'll be in touch with you about what's involved, the commitments that are required, and things like that. But high level, it is actually just, it's week to week. We don't have a long-term contract, and there's no exclusivity. We really just want to create an opportunity for the producers to be able to sell what they have.
And that could be kind of really enticing for a producer, right? You don't have this, you have to produce this amount of stuff at this amount of time. And there's no pressure if they have a slower yield or if they have more product than they can push out, right?
That's correct. Our producers get to set their sell limits. They know what they can produce, and they sell only what they have.
And so let's talk a little bit about the growth of this product. Do you guys have any offerings for the smaller local restaurants? We see a lot of farm to table offerings that are like, we're going to use just local sources. There's one really great restaurant here that really focuses on highlighting the local farmers in our area. Do you guys have an offering that is delivery from these farmers to restaurants, or is it more just farmer to consumer?
We don't deliver to restaurants. We only deliver to consumers. We do have some chefs that buy from Market Wagon, but they're just using it as it is, as a consumer platform. We're really focused on the doorstep. What we have for local chefs is many of them will join Market Wagon as a vendor. Because if you think about it, a restaurant is it's busiest right around the lunch hour and the dinner hour. There's a lot of dark time in the kitchens that they own. And there's also an opportunity for them to create products that are off their menu that may do really well if they're frozen and reheated later. Some items in their menu might not, but many of the items on their menu can be taken home and heated up later. And so we work with a lot of local chefs and artisans that create those products, put those on the Market Wagon. They're able to produce them in otherwise downtime for their staff and add extra income for their restaurant.
That's brilliant. It's just another avenue of taking that lost time that wouldn't be lost otherwise between those rushes. Super, super great. As far as growth goes coming up next, what are you guys' plans for further expansion?
Well, by the end of 2023, about 80% of the U.S. population will be in our footprint. We have 120 hubs planned. Right now we're in 31.
So that's super, super exciting in getting people from across the community involved in every aspect. Do you have a favorite vendor or a favorite thing that you order? You said that you just placed your order as well.
Yeah, I do. I have my favorite vendors, and in the interest of every vendor on the platform who I love equally, I don't say. I have a favorite child too, but I don't ever name it out loud.
My parents tell me the same exact thing. Nick, thank you so much for joining us.
I have a favorite child. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us on At Your Doorstep. This is a super great concept coming. If people want to get involved with Market Wagon or they want to learn a little bit more, where should they go?
Marketwagon.com. Just go to our website there. You can type in your zip code. We'll show you what's available for delivery in your area. If you're interested in becoming a vendor or a driver with us, like I said, just check out the main menu and apply to be a vendor or a driver.
Perfect. Make it easy. Thank you so much again, and hopefully you get that order pretty soon and it's all the produce that you want and more. Thanks for tuning into this week's episode of At Your Doorstep. You can find all of our episodes online on demand on FreightWaves.com. You can also find them anywhere that you get your podcasts, Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Make sure that you catch us live here on Tuesday afternoons at 2 p.m. You can always connect with me on LinkedIn, or I'm on Twitter at Kaylee Nix WX, and we'll see you guys next week.